Hey, everybody, welcome to a wonderful evening of fun and interview prowess from a gentleman named Steve Yarish. Many of you have probably met at Heroes Con in the past, but also you've clearly easily stumbled into his CAF gallery once or twice if you've ever searched CAF for the word Hulk, because he, along with a few other collectors, are the dominant Hulk collectors on CAF. And we're going to see a lot of Hulk art tonight, I think. So, and a good night. You know, it's a smash kind of night, and Hulk loves to smash. So let me bring in Mr. Yarch, and we'll get this thing rolling. Hey, Steve.
How's it going, Bill?
It's going well, man. I actually have a Hulk shirt. I should have worn my Hulk shirt tonight. I'm a little disappointed in myself.
Next time.
So what is that green bottle behind you? When we're in the green room, that's all I kept looking at it. What is it? By the window. It's
that is Funko. So it's a 2-liter, and then it has an action figure inside of it.
All right, so it's not a drink in the window. It's actually a Funko Hulk. All right.
Yes. I have a few Hulk action figures behind me, just a few.
Yeah. I don't think I've seen that many. Now that I'm looking, I didn't realize Hulk had a VW bus. Is that?
Yeah, that's from 1979. From Empire Toys. They had actually, you can't kind of see it, but up there's also a helicopter they made, and then a bus. So that was right around the time of Mego that they were making all the Mego figures, and the Hulk head. He needs a van and a helicopter, obviously, to get around.
Yeah, well, of course. Come on, he could leap, and get around a lot easier than driving in a van or whatnot. But my goodness, yeah, that's a lot more Hulk toys than I ever thought were ever made.
I've got about 550 different Hulk action figures, and probably another 150 like friends and enemies of the Hulk, like She-Hulk, the Thing, and the Leader, and everything. But about 550 unique individual figures that are all different.
I see that, and it's funny. I can actually see your OAX lanyard hanging up there too.
Oh yeah,
I recognize the Silver Surfer artwork. Awesome. No, that's amazing. And you're not one of those toy or action figure collectors that has to leave everything in the box. I take it.
No, I open it up. I've got a few that I've kept in that are rare, but pretty much everyone I open up just to post it, because I don't have the room to keep everything in the package either. So not anymore.
So is this the only wall? I mean, is there a wall in front of you filled with just as many toys?
No, I got on my back wall back here up on the shelf, I've got a few more toys, some busts that have been done of the different Hulk variations. And then I've got, so it kind of continues over there. And I've got 2 spinners, one old that Dave Wilkins helped me get. And then I've got my pinball game and some stuff up there. So.
Wow. Not too bad.
No, I have issues, obviously. So.
Is it isolated to this one room in the house, though?
Yes, that's what's my wife would let me have. And for those people who have been to my house, there's actually a secret entrance. There is a bookshelf that closes, so if you walk by it, you would never know there's a room here. But there's a secret book that you put a key code in, and you open the door.
Man, so this is like a safe room too.
Yeah, there's no window here, but relatively, yeah.
No bars on the window though.
Well, in my previous house, when we lived in Apex, North Carolina, we had a whole 3rd floor. It was full of Hulk memorabilia. At one point, I had pretty much the world's largest memorabilia of Hulk toys and stuff, but then I kind of purged most of them to focus just on artwork.
Oh, that's a smart move, I'd say. Simon Miller's in the chat, and he only wants to see your Keown Hulk artwork.
I'm not selling it to you, Simon.
He already has enough, doesn't he? I mean,
yes, he has.
Yeah, exactly. He's seen enough. He's probably got his portfolio right in front of him, looking at some Keown right now.
He's going.
Exactly. Oh man. Yes. So so I don't even know where to go from there. Hey, look, Jay Giant is here too. That room is glorious. I assume Dave has been to your place. Has he seen the Hulk?
Oh yeah, Dave is family. He's been down here a number of times. So
Awesome. Well, I guess we might as well just kind of start with, why the Hulk, man? I mean, clearly it's been in your blood for a while, and you're not the only one, which is cool. We have Stingray in the chat. He is the only Stingray, art. I mean, there probably aren't any toys either, but Hulk has a good following. It's not like Spider-Man or Cap, but whatever. But Hulk has some diehards. So why the Hulk?
I guess it goes back to back when I was 5 years old. I still remember my mom up in Ohio, Berea, Ohio. My mom gave me a nickel to walk down to the neighbor's garage sale. So I walked down there, and the first comic book I ever bought was issue 170 of the Hulk, which was basically the Hulk on an island with monsters and Betty Ross, and that was it. And I was painfully shy as a child, painfully shy. I know it's hard to believe, but very shy. So I kind of always associated with the Hulk. He just wanted to be left alone. And I just really identified with the character a lot.
In what way? Like the Bruce Banner side of things that.
Well, yeah, just kind of want to be, just to be left. I was so shy. I didn't want to deal with anybody. Just kind of be left alone and everything. And the funny thing was I actually ended up getting a master's degree in physics. So, there you go. I guess I kind of followed the whole trail with the Hulk and Bruce Banner.
Right. So, I mean, after that first comic, were you hooked? Did you keep going back?
Oh, yeah.
Your nickels and dimes and whatever to pick up.
Yep. I remember like getting on my bike and riding like 3 or 4 miles to the convenience store, when the Hulk book was coming out with my money and my still 35 cents, and getting those. So I just, I always preferred Marvel comics more than DC comics. They just seemed more relatable to me.
Mm-hmm.
And the Hulk was just a great character. It was just great. I just really identified him the whole time.
Well, that's yeah. I mean, the Hulk was always cool. I think when I first started reading the Hulk, it was probably more like around the Sal Buscema era. So it's and Byrne's Hulk was always pretty cool. Yep. But I miss the whole Kirby side of things, and even but I don't know. The Hulk was always an interesting character. But I mean, who did they turn to early in the Marvel movies but the Hulk to kind of get things started?
Yeah, that was the second movie that was basically made right after Iron Man or during Iron Man.
Mm-hmm. So Marcus is curious, is there any She-Hulk?
I have a few Funkos. That's about it. Well, no, I actually do have some figures too. But the She-Hulk action figures, if anyone who has them, they suck. They always fall over. They will not stand up. I just let them lay down now. So
they're not. I don't know. She's top heavy in some weird way.
Yeah, I guess. And her legs are weird. And I literally have like 5 different ones, and all of them just fall on the ground. I'm like, whatever. They're going to be on the ground.
I mean, look at that. You have 500, regular Hulks, and they're all standing just fine. And you have 5 She-Hulks, and they can't stay up.
No, they can't get the Hulk. They can't get female figures quite right for the most part.
Unbelievable. Ken Martin thought you related to the Hulk because you both have anger issues.
There's probably a little bit of truth to that too sometimes.
Yes, Stingray says she was well rendered. That's true. That always can be a problem. But let's see here, JJ. Yeah, I get it. So from there though, I mean, you got a degree in physics. You were still collecting comics throughout all that time. I mean, has comics been a part of your life from that first comic onward?
I stopped buying comics like when I first went into college, my first year of college, but that lasted maybe 9 months, and then I went to Kent State for my bachelor's and went to a comic shop after about 9 months and got sucked back in. So at that point, I was collecting Marvel, pretty much Spider-Man, X-Men, Hulk, Avengers. Only probably in the last 3 or 4 years have I really pulled back to just the Hulk. But I've always kind of collected all through the years. So then it got a little pricey. So I couldn't, when you get big old stacks like this big and they cost you an arm and a leg, you just kind of pull back and say, where do I want my money at? Artwork.
Sure. So, well, that's wise. So when did you get your first piece of art?
It was her Trimpe piece, which I actually don't own anymore. I ended up selling it to someone who it was their first comic book. But I got that. I think that was probably 97. That was when you used to have to mail away for a Photoshop a catalog you would get in the mail. Then you get the catalog and call up and hope they still had some pages. Then you sent your check in. So back in the old days before the internet, and you had to do things the old-fashioned way.
Yeah, I do remember those days. But
Yeah.
So what, you were getting the Comics Buyer's Guide, I assume?
Yep. And I kind of saw an ad. I'm like, honestly, I can't even remember who I bought it from, which was the dealer, but it was a big old catalog. And I had to get her Trimpe because he was the first artist, from 170. He was the first Hulk artist I had seen. So I wanted to get one of the pages from his early runs. So.
And in being a published page, that's not normal. I mean, a lot of art collectors kind of get started on something at a show, get a sketch from Herb Trimpe, but you dove right in and got a published piece. I mean, why? I mean, what was the tipping point that made you go after that piece of art?
I guess because it was a piece of my childhood, seeing that page, because, sketches, I do have some sketches, and I look like my Planet Hulk sketchbook, which I love, but seeing a page of artwork that I remember the comic, reading it as a kid, was just something that was so cool to me that I remember reading this 15 years ago as a kid and just owning that piece and in my collection. That was just something that was kind of something I couldn't pass up. Mm-hmm. So now the bad part was, at the same time, I was starting to focus on buying the Hulk memorabilia. So I wasn't focusing as much time on the artwork when it was more affordable, when I should have. So I should have more artwork, but I was not focused at the right things at the right time.
I mean, did you ever buy one of those 7 or 8 foot tall statues of the Hulk that have been around for some of the movies and for some of the stores that, pop-up stores they've had?
I did not. So there was actually, so they sent those, Marvel sent those to a whole bunch of movie theaters, those statues. And then Marvel said, yeah, we don't want it back, and we're not paying to ship it back. So the theaters had all these big statues, and there was one in Charlotte, but I didn't get there in time, or didn't reach out enough time to actually get it, because a lot of them were just giving them away or selling them. Mm-hmm. Did not get it. But I do have about a 9 foot tall inflatable Hulk. That was for the 2003 movie, because they just had toys everywhere. In the Toys R Us, they had this basically a 9 foot inflatable Hulk they used for promotion. Mm-hmm. And I contacted the company that made them, so I got one of those. I still have that somewhere. I saw a picture of a comic shop recently that had like a 9 foot inflatable Hulk on top of the roof. That's probably the same thing. Huh. I think I might have even saved that. I'm going to see if I have that on the computer anywhere. But so you have one. You have one yourself. Yep. My room is too small to put it in here. So funny thing was, back when the 2003 movie came out, I used to own IncredibleHulk.com. I used to own the website for like 12, 13 years until Marvel wanted it back. But for when I did have it, when the 2003 movie was coming out, I actually emailed Marvel and said, hey, can you give me a list of all the people you're going to be doing merchandising with? And for some reason, they gave me that list. So I started reaching out to all these companies, because the list included contact information and names and emails and stuff. So reached out and said, hey, if you give me a free product, I will promote your item on my website. So I ended up getting a bunch of free Hulk merchandise from the first 2003 movie. So that was that's how I got a hold of the 9 foot inflatable too. Did you make some good coin from giving the IncredibleHulk.com domain name back to Marvel? I did not. So 2003 movie, they actually reached out to me and wanted to use some of my pictures for a tabletop book they did. So, which was fine. It was, a little tit for tat kind of thing there. But for the 2008 movie, because that was called Incredible Hulk and my web domain was Incredible Hulk, they wanted that domain. I knew they weren't going to pay me. I knew Marvel. I've, known Marvel for a while. So I negotiated other things, we'll say. So part of it is I'm a character in 3 issues of the Hulk comic book. So the character is named after me, and Lee Weeks was the artist, and I knew Lee Weeks at the time, so he made it look like me. So for me, that was worth more than any money, honestly. Being as part of Hulk history was worth more than $80 they can give me. So you negotiated that, or do they offer that? Yeah. Along with some other things. I was at the world premiere. In fact, Bruno, I saw Bruno on here. Bruno went with me to the world premiere in Hollywood. They actually had a green carpet instead of a red carpet for the premiere. So it was fun.
Dang. Yeah, I saw, I think, Bruno asked a question earlier. I imagine we might get to see what is your favorite original art piece. I don't know. Maybe you didn't pick your favorite original art piece.
I think my favorite one is on here, but we will get to that at a later point, Bruno.
All right. You're going to have to wait, Bruno. Sorry.
But I do prefer published art over commissions. Not that I don't like commissions, but I prefer the fact, especially with published art, you know what you're getting.
Mm-hmm.
You know, with commissions, everyone who's been here has been through good and bad for commissions. With artwork, you know exactly what you're getting. With commission, it's hit or miss sometimes.
Yeah, no, that's very true. That's why I think it's a lot of people shy away from commissions, especially anybody who's been in the hobby for a while.
Yeah,
they learned early on and stayed away from them. But Marcus says that I would have settled for a 6-pack of Zevia for the domain name. Well, I can't say that I would have, negotiated my way into the comic book. I don't know if that thought would have crossed my mind. It might have, though. I mean, at the end of the day, when you're trying to think of whatever it is you might be able to get out of Marvel, if you're going to give them the domain name, it might have been up there. Did you get did Lee Weeks present the artwork to you at the same time, or did you have to buy it from him?
I had to buy it from him. So I have 2 of the pages. There's another 3 I need to get from him, but I just haven't had a chance to get those from him yet.
Now you said was it really multiple characters?
Just one character. I was like one of the bad guys. It was the Tempest Fugit storyline when Peter David and Lee Weeks did that, and I was one of Nightmare's, the mindless ones, but I was in human form. It was cool. I was in 3 issues. It was, for me, that was the ultimate thing that they could do for me.
Yeah. No, okay, that's cool. Now I'm going to have to go read them. I mean, I think we're going to see one of those pages.
Yep.
Yeah, I do remember when it's been a while. I made the slides almost, it feels like a month ago.
Yeah.
Because we were scheduled to do the show, and then things kind of went astray, and now we're back doing it. So yeah, I had everything prepped, but I haven't looked at it since. It feels like a month ago.
And Bruno and I actually got in the Marvel studio or Marvel Comics in New York too, because of my website. For those people who want to do some deep diving, there was a Canadian show called Fanatical, and they did an episode on me. Basically, they did episodes on people who were just a little obsessive compulsive about things like G.I. Joe, Cabbage Patch. So they did a episode on me, and I got Bruno involved also, and we ended up visiting, talking to Joe Quesada at Marvel and everything. So if you're ever bored, if you go to YouTube and type Hulk Fanatical, you'll see the episode. It's loaded up there.
Oh man, was it well done? A lot of production value. Did they?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It was like an official TV show in Canada. It was on for 2 years. They had a whole bunch of different episodes. So,
gee, man, that's awesome. I mean, we've seen. I mean, I know Berkey's had a few things done with him because of all the Spider-Man toys and things he's got, but I can't say I've ever seen a Hulk, something similar with Hulk collectors. So that's pretty cool. Are you revered in the Hulk collecting community then, Steve? Everybody knows you?
I think most people do, just because I'm out there always looking for artwork, chasing artwork, talking artwork. So I think pretty well. I mean, it's not as big as a community as Spider-Man or Superman. It's pretty smaller. So most of us know each other, help each other out. That's what I love about artwork is a very tight community, and people help each other out. I'm not trying to get something from someone else. We all help each other out.
Yeah, that is very true. Hey, Bruno mentions that Joe Quesada gave you guys a sketch when you were at Marvel too.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he was happy because we kind of put him on the spot with the camera. So,
yeah, he was probably in the middle of editing something.
Yeah.
Thorian, I guess Thorian Shen knows. She says Steve the Man.
Oh yeah, I know TC.
Bruno says that Quesada was not happy. Boy, Simon is not going to let go of that, is he? It says Steve must give me any Hulk Keown piece that I have. Oh man. Well, I mean, I feel like we should start looking at some artwork, even just to get well, you know what? I got a question for you. How long have you been on CAF? Because it's been so long I didn't even research that before we got on here. But
I think 2014 is when I first started posting. Is that right?
you know, it's fun. Okay, I forgot. You know, everybody should know we're doing a giveaway today. I forgot to announce that when we got started here because I actually did have your gallery open. You actually created this account in 2004.
Oh wow, yeah. I guess it is long. It's been a while.
Yeah, your ID number 1584. So that's a long time. But I guess we'd have to see like when you first started posting art. That would have been 2007. So you were a looker for a while, but okay, cool. No, I should have double checked that before we got started here.
And here's the artwork I'm giving away.
Yeah.
This is Ryan Dunleavy. So this was done for Wizard. He did a whole bunch of like 4 Dr. Seuss covers with like Wolverine. I bought it because he did one for the Hulk, and I got this along with it. So I figured this should go to a home who would appreciate it more than me. So whoever is joining the show tonight will go in the drawing to get that free for them.
Yeah, and if you enter hashtag I love Hulk into the chat, you'll be entered for that giveaway.
Yeah,
I figured that was appropriate. But yeah, there's a different image of it, so you can see the scan that's up on CAF. But you'll be giving that away to one lucky winner. We'll draw it later on, like maybe towards the end of looking at the artwork to reward all of you on election evening.
Yes,
for, you're hanging out with us rather than watching the ticker tape someplace else. You will have the opportunity to win this wonderful piece of Dr. Seuss inspired art from Steve. Just remember it. I love Hulk. You got to say it. That's the whole point of this thing. Hashtag I love Hulk. I think it's case sensitive too. So make sure you keep it all lowercase.
No, I will not be giving away a Keown.
Simon will keep asking. All right. Well, so I'll keep that the giveaway message up there for a little while anyway. While we're watching this thing, we'll see if it's yeah. There we go. We're already up to 15 entries. So that's good. So I'm able to keep track of these things. So, all right, Simon. Well, we're going to have to mute Simon somehow for this evening because he's just not going to stop. Marcus, that is the wrong thing to say. So leave it to Marcus. Oh, man. Bruno says, I have a Keown commission that I've never posted. How can I share the image? We can't share it on the show tonight, Bruno. Is it in your CAF? Yeah, I guess, I could always share a screen at some point later. Well, you have to post it on CAF first.
Yeah.
Man. All right. Well, we got 20 entries in so far. Thanks, everybody. So like I said, it'll probably be about an hour from now, but that we'll do this because we'll do it before we're done with the show. But we're going to start looking at artworks, and yeah, everybody wants me to mute Simon now. All right. Bruno doesn't think he has a CAF gallery. How's that possible, Bruno? Get over to comicartfans.com and create an account. It's free. You can post all the artwork you want over there, and it doesn't cost a penny.
I've seen the piece too, Bruno. You need to post it. I've seen it.
And I can tell you, Bruno, the reason I made Comic Art Fans was because I was a big commission con sketch collector when I first got started, and nobody shared the commissions and the con sketches. They only shared like there was one site out there you could have 5 pieces of art on it at a time, and so people only shared their best pieces, which were never their commissions or their convention sketches. So I built CAF with the idea that I wanted people to be able to show up everything so I could see more of the stuff that I was collecting at the time. And that's how we got to where we are today. And Marcus is giving advice. Sign up and lurk for a while first, just like Steve did. Oh, man. All right. So here, I'll leave the giveaway message up there for a while, but let's go ahead and dive in and look at some of the pieces of art that Steve selected for us to take a look at today. Well, I guess I'm going to have to hide the banner for a while. All right. So that way, I forgot I put the artist and artwork information on the screen here. So Adam Kubert, good person to start with. DPS from Incredible Hulk 466.
Yeah, actually, not this page, but another piece by Adam was one of my, I think it was probably my second or third piece of artwork that I got. Actually ended up buying it from Jim Warden. Got to go out to Jim's house and see all the Zach and Byrne pages he has in his house, which is amazing. But this one, and I was actually talking to Dave Wilkins earlier this week. This was the death of Betty Ross or Betty Banner. Shoot, they were married at the time. So I this was one of those back in the day. you see all these postings and you got all these search engines. Back in the day, you had to hunt and peck for these things. And I happened to be at work early in the morning checking. Actually, this was on Mike's site. I think I found it like at 7 a.m. and I said, I have to have this piece. I just love Adam's work on the Hulk. I always have. And this was just such a powerful piece. I grabbed it as soon as I can. And I think I beat Dave by probably 30 minutes, getting this piece. But I could not pass this up. I love his artwork. And so I think you hear people talking about birth pages. And you'll see probably a common thread. I apparently, for some reason, have death pages. So that's my thing. I've got like the death of Betty, and you'll see some other pages here later on too.
Now, why do you?
I was very happy when at OAX that Adam was there, because he doesn't usually, at that point, he really wasn't doing conventions at all. And I was able to talk to him. I actually, lined something up for Heroes Con for him to do a sketchbook because he couldn't do it at OAX. So I was very appreciative that you brought him to OAX last year, or this year, I guess.
Yeah, that would have been this year. Well, it's not hard. He's right in Orlando, or within. He's just on the outskirts, so it wasn't too difficult to get him to agree to come out to the show and everything. If anything, we could have picked a resort closer to his house. It would have made it more convenient for him. But
I think by the end of OAX, Adam may have put a restraining order out on me. I don't know.
Everybody's wondering who inked the Kubert piece. Is it Farmer or
Farmer? Yeah.
That's that's a good one.
But this was. I just love this piece just because of the emotion of the Hulk. This, everything you see in his face. It's just a great page. I love it.
No, it's fantastic. Certain artists just really get off on drawing the Hulk. And Adam really drew a crazy looking Hulk on it. This is a great piece.
And he still, because I talked to him at OAX, he still has some Hulk artwork left over that he hasn't sold. Because as I'm sure you know, him and his brother are very tight with their artwork, and I'm still trying to see what other pages he has from his Hulk run, just to see if there's anything else I can get out there that's none of them going to be as cool as this one, but something else with another cool Hulk image in it.
Well, knowing Adam, he probably has a lot of his Hulk artwork along with everything else. But yeah, no, he likes to keep it. His father kind of had that same sensibility. He passed a lot of his artwork on to the kids and everything. So the kids just had the same approach, right? If they don't need the money or whatever, or even if they did, they'd rather hold on to the art. So I don't know. That's admirable. But we got to do that art sale show with him. Gosh, it's been like 18 months, but we need to get him back on. And if we do, I'll try to ask him to bring some Hulk.
Yes, please do. Yes.
All right, we used to. I'd say maybe we'll try to get him on in the spring.
Cool.
I like that. But yeah, he was a lot of fun. He was actually, I don't know if you saw that show, but we did the sales show from this office, and we actually sat together and did it. Usually, I'm interviewing somebody like this doing an art sale, but that was the one and only time where the artist was with me, and we did it all together, and it was fun because Adam was able to make it a sellout. Right, he couldn't sell this one set of 4 pieces that he wanted to move, so he cut the price in half. He's like, I want to sell out. Let's go to $400 for this. And sure enough, somebody bought it. So it was like we were able to high five during that thing. It was a good time. Adam's a good guy.
My first Hulk piece from Kubert, actually, way back when, I had it framed, and it was I probably had it framed like at a AC Moore or something like that. So it was in a frame for years, and about 3 years ago, I took it out of the frame. And that's when I realized they glued the page to the backing.
Ooh.
So yeah, so it's in my room right now. Actually, I've got to take it to someone like a art restorer or something, figure out how to get that page off of the backing without ripping anything. So
right,
that was my horror.
That art conservation woman, Alexandra Von Hawk, will be at OAX.
Oh, good. I'm gonna have to talk to her then.
I don't know if you drive down or not, or if you could bring the piece, but she could at least take a look at it, tell you what could or couldn't be done to it.
Yeah, that's great to know, because I probably will bring it down, because I don't know what to do with it.
Yeah, I not to go on a tangent, I actually needed to scan a piece of artwork that when I bought it, it had been shrink wrapped. And it had a piece of foam core in the back, and it was on a like a heavy mat board. It was it's actually that Amazing Heroes Elementals cover by Bill Willingham that's penciled and painted, and it was always shrink wrapped. I never opened it. Well, they did that Elementals Kickstarter, and they wanted to use it as the cover. So I reluctantly decided I'm going to try to scan it myself, even though it's oversized. But I cut open, I started cutting open the side of it, and I was, as soon as I cut it open, I started realizing that I was worried. I mean, because I didn't peel it off, but I opened the top, and I'm thinking, oh my god, I hope they didn't glue the foam core on the back of this thing. And thankfully they didn't, but it did pop like it was. It had just been together for like 24 years or whatever. That it felt, it was almost, yeah, but you worry about that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
People have done some stupid things with comic book art.
yes,
Gluing it to other surfaces, without thinking about it. And so yeah, that's one case where you really want to get it fixed, if you can. That's
well, I'm definitely bring it down now that I know that. That's for sure.
yeah, she'll probably give you a quote right there and everything. All right, well, let's just keep looking. I got remember everybody, the giveaway, hashtag I love Hulk. So I'm going to remove that again here and look at the next piece of art by Lee Weeks.
Yep. And that is me right there. And so if you could kind of see the reflection in the mirror on the bottom panel there, that's the mindless one. That's actually me, but I'm in my human disguise. So I had bought a piece from Lee, a Hulk cover from him years ago, and I had always kept up with him because Lee Weeks is a great, awesome guy. Yeah, besides artist, he's just a great guy. So when I negotiated the deal with Marvel, I found out who was going to be the penciling, and I was excited that Lee did. So I just sent some pictures, and Lee was cool enough to make it look like me. That's when I had more hair, actually. So
I was going to say, and your facial hair was not as gray, right?
Yeah, I had a goatee at that point too. But for me, this is, the ultimate thing is to be an actual character in the Marvel universe.
So. Of course, man, they could put you in the official Marvel handbook, right?
Yep.
Wow.
If you Google it, Professor Stephen Yarish, it's out there.
You are not.
Yeah, if Professor Stephen Yarish, you'll see it's in Marvel. I'm on the Marvel.com website somewhere.
All right, I'm doing it just because I have to see it. It wanted to default to Hawking, of course, but all right, Professor Stephen Yarish, the Brain Strummers Wiki fandom. You're the enemy of the Hulk, the mindless one.
Yeah.
Physiology, superhuman strength, optic blast, shape-shifting. Yeah, okay, yeah, you're not lying.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, for me, it doesn't get any better than that.
Wow. No, that's very cool. Congrats.
And I love this because this storyline also brought Peter David back, for a little run, and Lee on artwork. It was just the ultimate. It was a great storyline too. It kind of cleaned some things up that had happened in the previous couple of years with the Hulk. So it kind of brought everything back together to a better place.
Well, very, very nice. And I'd say I love Lee Weeks' artwork as well. His published work's great. Every time you see him do it, he's a guy who, if you were going to get a convention sketch from, you can pretty much guarantee it's going to be really good, because I haven't seen him do a bad one. He's kind of like Bob McLeod. He just anything that he does, even at a show, is as professional as you would ever hope for someone to be doing in an environment that isn't always conducive to making artwork.
And his style is kind of classic but modern too. It's like the best of both worlds. So anyone can appreciate it.
Yep. All right, now this next one, it's not the Hulk, but it is Herb Trimpe, so there's a tie in there. But
and the character's green.
The character is green, and it's on a comic book cover that says still only 35 cents.
Yes,
I said earlier. So nostalgia for you?
Yes, like I know you're from Ohio, so I grew up watching Big Chuck and Little John on Friday nights and Superhost on Saturday mornings.
Of course.
And Saturday mornings were always Godzilla, like the cheesy Godzilla movies, and I just loved them. And I loved the comic book when it came out. I mean, so for me to be able to get one of the covers was great. I mean, I love the Godzilla character. I grew up on monster movies, You know, whether it's horror movies like the old Hammer movies with, you know, Dracula, or the cheesy Godzilla movies. I grew up on watching all of those and loved the series. In fact, that Herb was drawing it even better. And this was a great storyline when they shrunk Godzilla and he was running around New York City. He's doing sewers, fighting rats. It was just great. This one was basically someone had it on CAF, and I had my war chest was good enough at that point where I said, all right, I'm going to make him an offer. It wasn't too crazy, wasn't too insulting, and luckily enough, he took the offer.
Wow. No, this is right up my alley. I love, the Godzilla comics. I've got a Trimpe interior page and end page from, I can't remember which issue, but no, these were great. And like you, I mean, Little Chuck, Big Chuck, and Little John. Yeah, it's been too long. And even
Superhost.
Yeah, exactly. And and Superhost. I had a drawing on the back wall of Superhost. You know, I sent in a Godzilla once.
Really?
Back wall and a Ghidra, the three-headed monster.
Yeah.
Heck yeah, man. Saturday morning that was the thing to wait for, to see if you can get your art on the back wall. That was meant everything, right?
And the fact that he just passed away a few years ago too, which was crazy.
Yep, exactly. But yeah, I mean, all the dueling dealers stuff. There you go. Jim wants to give you a cash and a kidney, just in case you needed one.
No, this one will not leave my collection. I actually had 2 of the interiors also. I ended up getting 4 interiors along with the cover for this issue. Dave has one of them, and then another collector has the other one, and then I kept 2 of them just because I wanted to share the wealth, because everyone loves Godzilla.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, gosh, but I'll be honest, without Big Chuck and Little John or any of those kinds of shows, we probably wouldn't have dueling dealers, because honestly, that's what inspired us when Mike and I were talking about the show concept. I was like, it's got to be like that. We can have breaks where we can have memes and jokes. We can have the
Kielbasa Kid,
right? Exactly. The streak running through the grocery store, all that kind of stuff. I mean, I was like, we're going to do that. That was the most fun I had as a kid. So all the early stuff we did was really inspired by Friday evening monster movies and Saturday morning cartoons, monster movies, all that.
That was my childhood, is just watching those Friday nights and Saturday mornings. I loved it.
Exactly. So now everybody knows what it was like to grow up in Central Ohio, well, Northeast Ohio, I guess you could say. And and be, in the late 70s and early 80s, that was a thing.
And don't forget, going to North Coast nostalgia. So exactly,
it's changed hands.
They almost lost the business too. They had to do some crowdfunding, I saw.
They did. Yeah, that's that was my comic shop. North Coast was the best. I mean, that's where I was picking up where I got my first, the Elementals comics that I love to this day. I bought, there. So it was that era, very early 80s. I was going there.
Because I remember that's like when Micronauts went direct only. I had to go there to get the Micronauts because you couldn't get them in the stores anymore because they went to direct. So.
Yeah, that is true. And there was always right down the street from there was that place on that funky angle where they had comics, toys, movie posters. I forget the name of that place, but it wasn't more than like 4 or 5 blocks down the road from North Coast. So I always did both of those when I drive up from Brunswick.
The good old days.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's keep looking. Well, let's remind everybody, anybody that's new has popped in here, if you want to enter a giveaway for a free piece of art, and there it is on the screen. Just type in hashtag I love Hulk, and you'll be entered into the giveaway to get that artwork. Steve will mail it out to the lucky winner.
Yeah.
After all is said and done, we'll draw the winner near the end of the show. Okay, let's see. What do we got next? I can actually see some Keown thumbnails coming up, but we're going to Art Adams right here.
Don't tell Simon that.
All right. Well, this isn't a published piece of art.
No. So because I've been reading the Hulk comic book since I was 5, and I'm just a few years older than that now. So I've seen it go through up and down, through storylines. And prior to the Planet Hulk, it was on a little bit of a slide, and Planet Hulk just sucked me in. It was one of my favorite storylines. And since I go to Heroes every year, I'm like, well, I'm just going to start a sketchbook, and I'm trying to get a sketch from, some of my favorite artists in there doing Planet Hulk. And this is from 2014. And Art Adams now is a little bit more easier to get a hold of in terms of sketches. I mean, still hard, but more accessible than he was before, since Essential, reps him and everything. But back in 2014, he hardly did any East Coast shows. You couldn't just get a hold of him to do sketches. So when I heard he was coming to Heroes, I'm like, hell yeah, it's on. I have to get him in my sketchbook. So for that year, at that point I lived in Apex. It was about a 3-hour drive. So the Friday of the show, I got up at probably 1:30 in the morning and drove over because, I'm not going to spend Thursday night there because that's money I could spend on art. So I got up at 1:30, drove over. I was sitting outside the convention center probably by 4:30, and just sitting there. I mean, convention center was not even open at that point. So I'm sitting there waiting because I'm going to be first in line, damn it. And then probably a half an hour after that, this kid, he's probably like almost 30, Nick Cooper, comes over, sits next to me. He actually flew in from New York, he flew in from Texas just to see Art Adams also. So we're sitting there and we're waiting. And eventually we go in and we're waiting in line. We're the first 2 people in line. So it's probably about an hour before the show opens. And someone comes up on the floor who I know, and they go, "Hey, by the way, there's already about 15 people in line for Art Adams." And I'm like, "What?" And, we've all done conventions. We all know some of the dealers get in and they get in line early. And for those of you who have been to Heroes before, especially back in the day, there was a guy called Comic Monster who would get a table and he would have his people standing in line with the hot artists to get sketches to flip them on eBay the next day. So needless to say, knowing 15 people, I would never get a sketch. I was basically a little pissed. So David Ray actually happened to be working the con that year, and I kind of talked to him. So if you don't know who David Ray is, he's a rather large guy who helps with cons, but he's also a great guy and also a comic art collector too. So I talked to him. I said, "Hey, Dave, what's the deal? Come on, help me out here." So he understood. He appreciated for the situation that we were in. So he goes down. He actually, comes back maybe 15 minutes later. He said, "Okay, here's what I did. The line of people, I moved them across the aisle to another section, and I told them they can't move to Art's table until they see the first people coming down after the show opens." And he put a security guard there just to make sure. So, so me and Nick are a little comfortable now. So show opens, we go down there, we get to Art's table. And right when we get to the table, the line comes over and they go, "You have to get to the back of the line." And we're like, "No, we're not going to the back of the line." So it was getting very heated, we'll say. And I'm thinking, I'm going to get kicked out of this con, and it's only been open for 5 minutes. So we're going back and forth and everything. And then one of the guys goes, "Well, we're going to get someone from the convention center." I said, "Why don't we get Shelton?" So once I threw Shelton's name out, they said, okay, only you 2 guys can go. Everyone else has to go back to the line. So I ended up getting Art. I was first in line. Art did this. I actually it's not on CAF, but he actually started another page prior to this. I still have the blue line pencils where it's closer up, but I guess he changed his mind and went to this, and I love this piece. But the worst part is, out of everything, is the next day I'm at some table looking through artwork, and one of the guys we were arguing with, he comes to me and goes, "Hey, really, I'm sorry. What happened? I'm sorry. I almost got into it with you and your son." I'm like, "My son? Seriously? Do I look that old?" That was the worst part, is he thought Nick, who was almost 30, was my son. But that's my exciting story of almost getting kicked out of Heroes Con, 1 year. But I love Art, his detail, and he just nailed that piece.
Well, we've all heard stories of that. Heroes was always a pain in the rear end, with that going on. I tried for like 3 years to get on like Adam Hughes' list, and I'd get there, but I always get there late, and it'd always be the same resellers or whatever that were getting on the lists. And the first time I actually got something from Adam, I sent Maureen down, my wife, and I waited upstairs with the stroller and let her go in first, and she got in there, and a pretty face won the day, I think is what because I got the sketch. No, well, it's one you can't see, but it's on the wall behind me. But yeah, but I know, everybody dreaded Comic Monster, right? I mean, it's
Oh
just,
yes,
I wouldn't even say dreaded, despised. And
yes, especially because you see him dragging his wagon of 1,000 billion comic books. He'd ask people, the artists, to sign. Here's your stack. Can you sign 50 of these? These are going to be on eBay tomorrow. Yeah.
Right, exactly, and but that's why we have the economy that we have today, where every artist charges for that, and sometimes does more signing than sketching anymore. It's but it's all, and that's when the prices really started going up too. I mean, it at the end of the day, not a terrible thing for the creators, but it was definitely a different world. If people came into art collecting in the last 12 to 15 years, you really missed out on how much fun and how different it was in the early 2000s and prior to that, because it was a lot more affordable and accessible and all those good things. So it is what it is, but
It is.
can't have it any other way now, because that's the way it is. So let's take a look at the next piece. We're on number 5. Let me hide this banner here, because we do have a piece of Dale Keown art, and it's not published. It's a sketch.
It is a sketch. So this is in my sketchbook also. This is one of only 2 times I've mailed my sketchbook, which stressed the hell out of me. So Dale doesn't do shows in the U.S. He only does them in Canada, and he was gonna be at the Toronto show, I think, Fan Expo, and myself and Dave Wilkins reached out to his rep at the time and said, "Hey, is he doing sketches?" And his rep was super nice. We arranged it, and I sent the sketchbook up early, and he actually had it done before the show even started. So, I mean, he just put so much detail on this. I mean, the image looks great, but you really need to see it in person. Just the amount of detail, and it's just pencil work. There's no ink. It's just tight pencils. It's just amazing. And he's such a great guy. Again, another time where probably Dave and I were probably on the stalker phase there, because we probably didn't leave his table for the whole con. I think we were actually there. Both Dave and I were there up to the very last minute that the convention closed, and Dave got his sign that was over his table, and I got his lanyard. So it was a little sketchy, but he was great. He's a great guy to talk to. And
you didn't take the lanyard right off of him, did you?
I said, "Are you going to get rid of that?" So he signed it and said, "Here you go." So just gave it to me for free. It was great, and because we got to really talk to him a lot with his girlfriend, and just kind of talked artwork. He sold some artwork, but it was dirt cheap. I regret not having more money with me, because he sold one of his Hulk covers, his later ones, not the earlier ones, but a later one, for like nothing. And it was painful seeing him sell that artwork so cheap, and I couldn't buy it. Sorry, Simon. I didn't know you at the time. I couldn't get it for you.
Well, this turned out fantastic. Amazing that it's in a sketchbook too. That's not a lot of collectors use sketchbooks these days.
Well, and the thing about sketchbook is, one of the reasons is because the artists know I'm not flipping it. It's in a sketchbook.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting this because I appreciate their art, and some of them actually try to one up each other, which I appreciate too. So
that's true.
They like, oh, look what Dale did. I have to do better than Dale. So it's a little bit of that too, but I'm never going to sell the thing. So I think they do appreciate the fact that I'm doing it just for the art.
Yeah, no, it's a good approach. Definitely. I already teased the Hembeck, so we might as well look at that cover recreation.
Yeah, and anyone who doesn't have a Fred Hembeck in their collection is lacking. Everyone should have at least one piece by Fred. He's just great. I mean, again, if you grew up reading comics when I did, you always saw Fred, his artwork here and Marvel here and there. It was just great. And I had to get him to do the cover to my first Hulk comic book in his style, of course. So there's the Hulk with the giant monsters and Betty. And he was just great to deal with. I think as I remember, he said it was going to be done in 2 months, but it took him like 4 months, which in commission timeline, that's nothing. And he was very communicated the whole way. I wasn't upset or anything, but he ended up doing some other sketches too for the Hulk, just because he felt so bad that it was 2 extra months out of 4. But I love Fred's artwork just for the craziness of it. So I know you have them on periodically. So if you don't have one, listen the next time, Bill has him on, and you need to get some artwork by Fred.
That's true. Antoine wanted to know the dimensions on this one.
It's huge. It's probably double up size. It's large. He works on large artwork. It's probably double up, I think.
Dang. Yeah, no, Hembeck's great. He's promised me that whenever he goes to a show again, it will be OAX first.
Good.
Yeah.
His style, with his little things around the knees and everything and the elbows. It's just, that's Fred. It's Fred.
That is true. There's that group of Facebook collectors that are fervent Hembeck buyers on eBay. So yeah, it makes it fun. Definitely. He enjoys it. And I know that in his retirement, he still has a lot of his art too, believe it or not.
Really?
Yeah, he's held on to quite a few things.
I wonder if he has any pages from like the roasts or anything like that he did for Marvel.
That I never asked him about, like the FF roast stuff.
But, yeah.
But no, but I mean, there was I know I asked him about like the Fantico stuff, and he said he's holding on to it all. It's too personal to him, but you know what I mean. So he's kept a lot of things that have personal meaning for him, but he didn't feel like there was that there were any buyers for that stuff either. He didn't know. So, but now he knows because we've been auctioning off some pieces for him. He had a Marvel Age piece go for $2,000.
Nice.
Yeah, no, he's happy. I mean, heck, he's in retirement, right? I mean, poor guy does not even. Well, I won't even say this, but he could use the money. Let's just put it that way. Yeah.
Well, I mean, honestly, if you is he still doing commissions now, or is he out of that?
He doesn't do commissions any longer. He'll do like sketch card commissions, but he won't do the cover recreations and those sorts of things.
That's too bad. But
yeah,
let's just still get a peek.
Yeah. No, well, if I ever get, I mean, I guess I could always pitch it to him that, if somebody, if he would do like 111 by 17 or something like that, or an oversized piece again, I'm sure it would go pretty, it would do pretty well as an auction, for him. But yeah, he's been kind of averse to that. Even when he does covers these days, they're on 9 by 12. So he's still, he works pretty small. I never asked him why, but yeah, a couple of the published covers that we've sold recently for him were on 9 by 12.
Yeah, I think I got that. It was a while ago when I got that.
Well, that one had like a date in the 70s. I think. Let me go back to it and look. What does it say on there? Oh, shoot, it's.
When did I can't even remember when he did that.
Lower right. I don't have the. Let's see if I can find the original from this thing. But either way, I mean, I know that he was big into doing the recreations in the 80s.
It was later than that. It was in probably late 90s. I probably had it done.
Oh,
I
okay.
guess.
Well, it is a doozy.
Yeah,
they say.
And and given it's the first comic book I ever bought, I just thought that was the one to have him do.
Mm-hmm. Yep. No, it's awesome. They lurk in the volcano.
I mean, for a 5-year-old, a big green, the Hulk fighting giant monsters. What more do you want in a comic book as a kid?
Can't ask for anything more. And again, your first book, man. I mean, that's everything about that thing. If anything, you could have asked him to draw you as a little kid next to him. That would have been, but who, what are you going to do? So where are we going to next? Now this a sketch from Mid-Ohio Con, right?
Yeah. So this was my first real con that I went to when I was living up in Ohio. Mid-Ohio. Did you ever go to Mid-Ohio, Bill?
I only went, I went twice, but years apart. So I went there at their last one. Then Fred was at that one. But and then before that, it might have been like, gosh, it was a couple years before that.
But 98, 99, it was still Mid-Ohio. Wizard had not bought it yet. It was just a great little small con. Had a lot of great artists. I mean, John Byrne was there. He was there for that both years. And this is the first sketch I've ever gotten at a convention. And Martin Eglund, he was doing Aquaman at the time, which that was one of the few DC books I got, partly because Peter David was writing it. But I loved his style, and so I love this piece because it's just the first piece I've gotten as a commission. And it was really weird is that Martin just kind of disappeared from the comic world after doing Aquaman. He really didn't do a lot after that. I'm not even sure what he's doing now, but this always will be important to me as the first sketch I've ever gotten.
And you still have it? Was this done in a sketchbook or
No, this was on 11 by 17.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, at that point I was doing, I think I bought like a packet of 11 by 17s and we're asking artists to do sketches on them. So it was a great little con at that point until Wizard kind of destroyed it. But 98, 99, great.
Yeah, there was wasn't there a show in Mansfield too? Because I think I went to a show in Mansfield where Miller and Byrne were at it.
Oh man.
Right around 84. But I wasn't collecting art then, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, so, and I, being an idiot, all I was doing in 98, 99 was getting sketches. I wasn't looking at artwork because like Garney was there, Angel Medina was there. I mean, there were a lot of really good artists there. And I'm going, hey, can you do a sketch? As opposed to, what artwork do you have that I can buy? So, and the funny thing was, John Byrne was there, and people may already know this, but like he was doing signatures and he would only do 10 signatures by hand. Anything after that, he had a stamp made of his signature and he would stamp the book after that. So I thought it amused me at the time.
Yeah, no, I remember the stories. Yeah. Well, John was always a character.
Yeah.
We've tried to get him to go to OAX. It will not happen. So
he is out of the game because I actually reached out to Jim Warden probably about 6 months ago to see about John doing something for my work, and he's not doing anything at this point. So
yeah, it's unfortunate. But hey, man, he's retired. He can do whatever the heck he wants. He's put his hours in for sure. Oh hell yeah! So yeah, I don't begrudge him in any way. But I even told Jim at the time, I'm like, I don't care. I don't want John to draw. I just want John to be there.
Yeah.
I will pay to have John come down, because I just think having him at the show would be incredible. I mean,
he's royalty. He's comic art royalty.
And he's an art collector. I think he'd actually enjoy it,
Yeah.
I mean, so, but yeah, no, he just, he's got pets and things and he doesn't want to take, he doesn't even want to travel. So it is what it is. But he will always be a hero of mine. I mean, I don't know if I would have stayed with comics as much as I did if it wasn't for Byrne and Purves, just their art styles that really turned me on at that.
I still need to get a piece from Byrne for his short Hulk run. I have not, because it's a little pricey, and I just haven't had a chance to get one of his yet.
Yeah, they are. Well, like everything, it's going up in price, right? But the Hulk pages used to be kind of affordable, but not anymore.
No, I again missed the bus on those, and now they're out of my war chest range right at this point.
Mm-hmm. Reminder on that giveaway, everybody. We're going to do a giveaway close to the end of the show, probably about 40-45 minutes. So we have you have to enter hashtag I love Hulk into the chat and hit enter, and bam, you'll be entered into the giveaway. We've got 23 people entered, and we've got over 50 people watching the show right now. So I don't know what you're waiting for. Come
on, don't forget hit that tab, that like tab too. Come on, people.
Exactly, free art. Come on, what are you waiting for? Oh man! All right, let's see here. Next up, where am I going to from here? Slide 8. Let me hide that message again. So Sal Buscema, mentioned him a little bit earlier. Got another.
Yeah. Again, he will always be my favorite Hulk artist. There's lots of other ones who I've enjoyed, but Sal will always be. When I think of the Hulk on my mind, it's always how Sal drew him.
Even over Trimpe?
Not over Trimpe, yeah. Just because first comic was Trimpe, but like the issues from like 194 to like 240 when Sal was in his prime with the Hulk, just a big, massive Hulk. That's just like my Grail page, so everyone has Grail pages and everyone has a Grail page. My Grail page is 206 splash page 1, which is just the Hulk landing in the desert. That's just what I think of the Hulk, is how Sal drew him. So he will always be my favorite artist. So he, up until like just a short time ago, he was still working, inking and doing sketches. And his rep, Scott, put like a list out. And I'm like, heck yeah, I want to be on that list. And it took probably 2 years to get this, but I'm like, I want to see how Sal will draw Planet Hulk. And it was well worth the wait just to see my favorite artist draw one of my favorite incarnations of the Hulk. Couldn't get in a sketchbook, would have loved to do a sketchbook, but Sal, he's getting up there in age. He doesn't do conventions anymore. So this was the only way, and I'm happy to have it. And I think a short period after this, Sal kind of stopped doing larger pieces and was doing busts. And I think he's not really doing anything at this point, except randomly. So I'm very lucky to get this one I did.
Yes, you definitely are. No, it's fantastic. I mean, I've seen a lot of Sal Buscema commission pieces, and no, this is amazing. I think I went to one of the last shows he went to was Pittsburgh Comic-Con about 2008. Ooh. And I was foolish. I mean, he was mobbed there, and I just was like, oh, I'll see him in another show instead of waiting in one of those lines to get a head sketch or something from him. And it was like after the show they announced that it was going to be his last show that he was ever going to go to. And I was like, shoot, because Scott always set up at that Pittsburgh show.
Yeah, because I know Sal lives in Jersey, and it's pretty close. I mean, not that long of a trip. So Sal was at Heroes Con probably in the year 2000, I think. I think this one was because I was living in Georgia at the time. So Sal was at Heroes. I came up just to see Sal, and he was doing free sketches for everybody. He had a line that was, I don't know how long. He was the nicest guy. Him and his wife were there talking to everybody, just doing free head sketches. And I got my Hulk head sketch. And because, again, I wasn't in full Hulk artwork mode, and because I'm an idiot, he had a stack of artwork there of everything he did, including, I know there were Hulk pages in it. And back then, Sal did not appreciate his own value. And he was selling pages for like $25 with a Hulk on it. And I'm like, I still kick myself for not just like saying, here's a stack of money, give me your whole stack of artwork,
Right.
But it was just cool for me to actually see him in person for the first time, getting a piece of artwork, his sketch, and talking to him. That was cool. But after the fact, a few years later, I'm like, wow, I'm an idiot. I could have had a lot of artwork cheap. But
I know, if we could only go back in time.
Yeah, every collector has those stories of what if. So
yeah, well, not every collector, though. Those of us who were in it early, but yeah, it's so true. Yeah, I can't tell you how many times I wanted to do a Back to the Future meme with Mike and Anthony. Like going back in time and trying to convince one of the guys not to buy 300 copies of whatever Hall of Foil, to actually keep that money and buy a stack of artwork from Joe's somebody's table, right? And we've just never filmed it, but that was my dream, was to shoot that, because I know every art collector who's been around the hobby for a while would relate to that experience.
Yeah, and I mean, I really regret, I don't regret it, because having my memorabilia collection got me to do things that I couldn't have gotten otherwise. But and we'll get to this later on, like another Keown page, back in the day when there was actually a lot of good artwork on eBay. And I just passed most of it by looking for Hulk toys instead. So I don't know what the hell I was thinking. But there was a lot of really great artwork back then.
Yeah. The glory days of eBay.
Yeah.
We all enjoyed that. I got my first published page on eBay. Honestly, it was like an Ian Churchill X-Men page, and I picked it up at the Pittsburgh Con. But yeah, things were a lot different at that point in time. Let's see here. So we have a pencil piece we're switching to. I got to get these banners off in time. So Paul Peltier, Hulk cover.
Yeah, another artist that I feel is not appreciated as much as he should be for his artwork. He's very clean, very classic style, but Paul is just completely reliable. His Hulk run is awesome. His Hulk is massive, like just huge and massive, and it was just great. And this is one of those situations where right place, right time, where this is when he was repped by Mighty Nib and
Randy. Yeah.
Yep, Randy Martin. And I remember, again, this was another one at work. Obviously, when I get to work, I don't do work the way I described this, but I was there early looking online, and Marvel was just releasing the solicitations, and they released this image. Probably it's like 7:30 in the morning. Emailed Randy, said, I want to buy this. And luckily, I was the first one who emailed him. Again, this is another one of those times where Dave was probably 30 minutes behind me emailing Randy, and lucky enough to get this. I love this. Just like, again, the way Paul can really do emotions so well in his images. Like if you look through his Hulk run, all the feelings he puts into the Hulk's face are just amazing. It's just amazing. And funny thing was, so I got this, made the deal, and then Heroes Con came up, and I was talking to Randy, thanking him and everything. And Paul had did 2 covers for this book. He did this cover, then he did a variant which had a lot of negative space, like a Hulk, almost like a shadow kind of thing. Very cool image. And Randy said, "Hey, do you want this for X amount of dollars also?" I said, "Hell yeah." And then unfortunately, Paul had promised to someone else, so he had to come back to me at the end of the con and say, "Nope, sorry, you can't have it." But I almost had both covers from Paul at the very end. But this one, love it, love it. Especially because it was the last issue before they rebooted it for the millionth time.
How do they handle the logo on this cover?
I think it was at the bottom, I think, or something. It was weird. Because it fills the whole space.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'll have to go check it out. But no, it's fantastic.
Yeah, so if you've never seen Paul's run on the Hulk, buy some issues. Again, he sells himself short for his artwork. He sells it too cheap. I'm going to tell you. I've got a good number of pages from him, and it's just he does really good work. Because I always seem to some of these other ones that Dave's chasing, I always just right before he does.
Dave, you just got to get a faster internet connection, man. I don't know what else to say. Antoine wants to know if you ever have this inked, maybe a blue line, right, or something.
Yeah, I would never have this inked itself. I would have probably like a blue line for sure, but never the original, just because I'm too paranoid.
No, it's so nice to see it like this.
Yeah, and again, he does really tight pencil work too, like really tight pencils, so you almost don't need it inked to appreciate it.
Agreed. No, this is a powerful image too.
Yeah, this is again in my series of death images, apparently. So this was some again Planet Hulk. This is when his wife, I'm going to pronounce it wrong, Kyra, I think that's how it's pronounced, but she had just died, so it's in my death of phases here. But I got this. So for those people who don't know some of the background on the Planet Hulk story, Planet Hulk artwork, Carlo lives in the Philippines, and most of the artwork that Carlo did has little dots on it because there was a hurricane or a typhoon or something that went through, and there's actually like little weather dots, water dots, or something on most of the pages. I was lucky enough to get this one before it got shipped to me before all that happened. So this is one of the few clean pages. But again, this just kind of shows the Hulk emotion. He just lost another woman he loved. The Hulk goes through a lot of loss in his life. Here's another one, a big one, where he finally found happiness on his planet, and then it's ripped from him again. So I just love the emotion of this page. And I was talking to Carlo a few weeks ago. He said this is like one of his favorite pages he's ever done. So I'm proud to own it. From my standpoint, it's probably the second best page from the book. Ken Martin has the best page, which he has promised that it is. I am in his will, so when he dies, I will get that page. Right, Ken?
Maybe.
Yeah, Ken got Ken's page also is clean, but he's got the very cool double DPS or the Hulk on top of the ship at the very end. But I was happy to have this one instead because this is a very cool picture. Love it. And yeah, just a cool storyline.
I always like Carlo's work too. This is fantastic. Love the design layout on this thing. The panels are great, like that. Yeah, it's fantastic.
And unfortunately, like at the time, my money was not as much as I wish it was, so I wasn't able to get a lot of the artwork. So I'm playing catch up on some of the pages to try to catch some of the other Planet Hulk artwork. And I don't mind the weathering because it's not really doesn't do anything to the page, I hope. But I'm slowly trying to get some pages. So between myself, TC, and Dave, we're always like looking at what other artwork we can get from the storyline.
Wow, this is a keeper.
Oh yeah, this one is definitely a keeper.
Now here, no Hulk.
Yes. So Gears of War, Liam Sharp. I love Liam Sharp's artwork.
Me too.
His run on the Hulk, he actually talks. He's not happy with his Hulk art run. I thought it was great for the types of stories Peter David was drawing or writing at the time. They were very dark. So I thought his run on the Hulk was appropriate for the storyline, and his art style was great. But for those who don't know, I work for Epic Games. Those who, we make Fortnite. Go play the game after this and buy some stuff, please, from my standpoint. But prior to that, they made Gears of War, which I'm sure for those who played games, Gears of War is a great franchise. So I kind of wanted to get a page from that just because I work at the company and I can appreciate what it was. And I love Liam's artwork. So this was just a great page with the main character from the game and the comic book kind of ripping up one of the main bads. So I love it. Great page. And when the Gears of War comic book came out, it was extremely popular. It sold a lot of issues.
Well, it's a very cool page, very Liam vibe as far as the inking work and everything in there. It's a great piece. But if my daughters find out that you work for Epic, they'll be stalking you.
Did they play Fortnite?
Well, yeah, they play Fortnite. They play, I don't even know what other games they've got.
Fall Guys.
That one and
Rocket League.
But I don't know if they played Rocket League. But they're both going to to school for basically 3D design. And,
oh, cool.
My daughter just graduated from Full Sail in Orlando, so she's done a lot of intern work already. But yeah. I don't know, who knows what she really wants to do with that education, but they play the games all the time and they want to get into the business one day. But anyways, this is awesome piece. I think anything that's game related that comes in the comics is always fun as well. I mean, I grew up playing Doom and Quake Online and, I was a gamer long before I was an art collector. So I appreciate all of that.
And for those who have never played Fortnite, we have loading screens. As the game's loading up, we have loading screens, and we have used a lot of comic book artists.
Yes, you have. A lot of people in the sci-fi fantasy world too, who do like Magic the Gathering artwork have on those loading screens too. I mean, I think it's great. I mean, it's an incredible game, and I appreciate the fact that you have actually gone out and used creators that are in the hobby we love too.
So, and what I do is like when I go to Heroes or even OAX, I will reach out because I don't do anything exciting. I'm in the legal department at Epic Games, so I do nothing exciting, but I still love the fact that I work for them. So, but I'll reach out to my art team before I go to Heroes or OAX, and I'll say, okay, here's the list. Who am I hitting up? So I'll go there and talk to artists that they want to, I'll say, hey, are you interested in maybe doing a loading screen? So I kind of get a chance to talk to the artist business plus general things too. So it's kind of cool that I can merge my work life with my collecting life too.
Yeah, you're an asset to the company beyond your legal talents.
I just have not figured out how to write off all these convention trips yet, so I need to do that.
Well, you're an attorney, not an accountant, but oh man. Well, yeah. Let's see. Yeah, I get it. All right, where are we going to next? This one was an interesting piece. I wasn't quite sure how to crop the images.
Yeah.
So I did my best. So tell me about this one. This isn't Hulk either.
This was a weird one too. This was on Comic Connect. Because I'll go through a lot of these different auctions and kind of just go through what's out there. And this one was just so unique. And I just had to get it because, it's the utility belt and it's got all the, gas bonds and picks and little things. And I'm like, yeah, I kind of want this just because of the uniqueness of it. Again, was never really a big Batman fan itself, but I just thought the page was unique enough that I wanted to get it. So, it's a mixture of artwork on vellum plus on the page plus the paste ups. It was just so cool. The fact that you can't really tell well on the page, but on each of those little capsules, he wrote in blue pencil what each one was. It was just a neat little thing. It's kind of like if George, who's on here. Hey, George. And so he's got this unique collection of all this unique types of artwork. So I'm trying to emulate him in terms of not just published comic book pages, but other things also.
Sure.
So it was one. It was kind of like it was cheap enough that I wanted to have it just to have it in my collection.
Well, it's very cool. And you said Comic Connect?
Yeah, it was that Comic Connect, and I was kind of, it's one of those things where you just put a bid on it. You're like, okay, this is how much I'll pay for it, and then I ended up winning it.
I have not had that good fortune yet, Steve. I hear that story all the time, and when I placed bid, well, I can't say that. All right, I did pick up a Bill Sienkiewicz piece that I did that very same thing. I'm like, I'm going to put what my max is on it, and I got it. But I've never put like a semi thrill bid. Like, all right, I might like this piece. I'm going to put a bid out there that's like 20% less than I think it should go for. And if I get it, great, but I'm not going to get it. That's never happened to me. Never. And 25 plus years of collecting. So,
we'll get to a page later. That was my ultimate success doing this too. We'll get to that one later. And Simon will be happy when he sees the artwork. We'll just put it that way.
All right. Okay. So this is this is a creature from our childhood. This Island Earth mutant sketch you got done at Heroes Con.
Yeah, this was, for those of you who have been to Heroes Con, you know Creature Box. They were an art team, do amazing, very cool monster designs. And again, we talked about before, I grew up on these movies, Big Chuck and Little John. And for those of you who do sketchbooks, you'll know it's a very stressful thing at a convention because you're always trying to juggle, this artist gets done in time to give it to this artist, to give it to this one. So with just one, it was stressing the hell. I was getting stressed out. We'll just put it that way. So I started another sketchbook. I'm like, you know what? I'll do movie monsters. And Dave from Creature Box, I had him do this because I always loved this monster from the movies, the classic monster. You see him all the time. When people think back of like the 50s and 60s movies, they think about this monster a lot of the time. So I just had to get him to do this one. I love the unique style he does. So unfortunately, Creature Box doesn't do the show anymore, but they were a great team.
Oh, yeah. No. This is a classic creature, and Dave's style is just perfect for it, too. This is really nice.
Yeah, I love his style. I really wish they were still doing Heroes, just because every year I would always get something new from them, whether it was Hulk or not. It was always something from him because they were just great guys, too, great to talk to. And they're both located like 30 minutes from me, too, which is handy.
That's not bad. What is Nick saying? He says, you got a great Hulk collection. Someday I should update my CAF. Yeah, if you haven't done that in a while, Nick, you should. Let's see. There'll be an app soon for you to do that. It's even easier. So you won't have any excuse not to. But Nick says, hope to meet you at CAF this year, or at OAX this year. Maybe you could sneak Keown in. I'd love to see Jeff Purves as well.
Well, you will see, Nick, you will see a piece from that very shortly. And I'll talk a little bit about Jeff also.
Cool. All right. Well, let's see what's next here. I think we're moving into the Hulk again. So nice Sal piece here from issue 205.
Again, apparently I have issues. This is another death issue.
Man,
death page. I know. So this is the death of Jarella. Again, this is when she dies in his hand, in his arms, and everything. And for me, this was when was this? This was 1978. So I was still pretty young, and this was kind of like one of my first introductions to death, really, because I had both sets of my grandparents were still alive at that time. So this was like the first real introduction of death to something I could relate to. So this was very powerful for me as a kid, just thinking that, the Hulk, who I was, loved reading the comics, he just lost like the love of his life. It struck me a lot. So I was very happy to get this page. I ended up selling. I don't sell a lot of pages. I've sold and traded here and there, but I don't do it a lot. And to get this page, I had to sell. Actually, I sold a Kubert Wizard splash to Dave to get this page, but it was worth it because I love the Kubert Wizard cover. But this one, it's always struck me since I was a kid that how powerful this page was.
Man. Yeah, A lot of people collect birth pages, first appearances. You collect last appearances.
Apparently so. I just didn't even think about it till I was talking to Dave, earlier this week. I'm like, wait a minute, something's wrong here.
Yeah, there's a psychological thing going on here, but maybe it's just the pivotal moments thing. It's like there's nothing wrong with emotional pages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you're a little kid, you don't understand death, but this kind of introduced it to me, and it was good.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's see. I don't think we have death in this next image.
No, this is, again, I'm always trying to get as much Hulk Sal artwork as I can. I think right now I am up to 60 pages from Sal. I only have half of those on CAF. I'm sorry, Bill. I will get the rest on there.
Damn.
I know. I will get the rest on there. But I was lucky enough to get one of his splash pages, and it's just, it fills the whole page. This was just, again, one of my favorite pieces I have. Not my favorite piece, but one of my favorite pieces I have, just because it's, Sal drew out like a massive Hulk, kind of like I enjoy Paul's massive Hulk, like very early in the run from like 194 to 245. Sal just drew a massive Hulk, and that's what it's stuck in my mind forever, what he looks like. So this was just a really cool one of him, just again leaping. That's how he didn't need a helicopter really, or the VW, but he could jump when he needed to.
Yeah. No, I always loved this title page. I'll be honest. I mean, it's an awesome image. He's so big you can't even get him all in there. His right hand is off the page, right? I mean, it's just so well done. And yeah, I mean, you're right about Sal. I mean, I think he was one of the better Hulk artists out there without question.
And Sal had a lot of inkers on his run too. I mean, he had just changed from issue to issue. So some were better, some were not as good. But Mike, I thought he did a great job on this. So I'm really happy to have this in my collection too.
Yeah, no, even I'm envious of this one. I think it's amazing. I mean, this is a great piece.
Yeah, this is one of those ones who will never leave my collection. Actually, I've made jokes that because at some point, probably in the future, at some point, I'll maybe start to get rid of my collection, maybe. But I've told I have 3 daughters. I've told them that when I die, my artwork is going to be buried with me. Whoever digs me up gets to sell it. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, they're all ready to hire a backhoe operator.
Yeah.
All right. So this next, I have 2 slides for this one because this is pretty cool. You have to be pretty old to remember Presto Magic's boards, but I do because they had them for everything.
Yeah, Star Wars, everything.
Yeah, it was. I mean, playing with these actually gave me the dumb idea early on to actually cut up my comic books and I did. I mean, it's unfortunate, but yeah, I cut through a bunch of comics back in the day because you had these. Why not, right? I mean, you can't, you don't have the harpy in the right pose or whatever. And these are so much fun. So you got original art by Dave Cockrum for some of them.
Yeah, so there's actually I have all 6. There's 6 pages that have all the characters. I mean, he did like all of the. I only gave you one just because there's so many, but all 6 of them are on my CAF page. But he did all the classic characters. He even does Groot, like the old Groot when Groot was a bad guy from way back in the late 70s and 80s. But he did all the classic characters, By Beasts, the Rhino. He even did. So one of my favorite characters, Cyclop, which was a random character, but I always loved it. He did him. And he sold this on Dave Cockrum. He sold this on eBay himself through his son. So, and of course I didn't look at anything else he was selling, but David posted it or through his son, and he actually had it listed as color forms on the listing on eBay. So I messaged him and said, no, these are actually, Presto Magic. So he updated it and I put a bid on it because he was selling it dirt cheap. And I was the only one who bid on it. I mean, it's Dave Cockrum, a classic artist, drawing every classic Hulk character. I mean, I was, again, one of those times where I'm amazed I won it just because it was Dave Cockrum artwork. But another one of those kind of cool, unique things.
Did they not list Dave's name in the title?
No, they did. They did.
That's
In
weird.
fact, because it was so random, I actually printed out a copy of it. I still have it with the artwork in terms of the listing and everything, just because no one's going to believe me of this unless I can show them. But he probably was selling some other artwork too. I didn't look at it because I was focused on Hulk, but he sold, I think, a fair number of artwork through his son's name on eBay, but it said Dave Cockrum on it.
Wow.
Yeah,
well, I think that's totally cool.
I ended up, once I won it, I ended up saying, hey, can you do me a favor? And I I mailed my copy, and Dave signed it and returned it. My actual Presto Magic page right here.
Mm-hmm.
So he signed it there at the very bottom, on the bottom right-hand side. You can see his little signature there. So he signed it and sent it back with the artwork.
Damn. Well, congrats.
Yeah.
It's hard CAF. And I'm gonna have to check out your CAF Gallery because I don't remember seeing all those. But yeah, I see the Abomination, Rhino. I mean, shoot, man, those are awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it's every classic Hulk villain you could ask for, drawn by Dave. I mean, come on.
Look, there's even the Hulk's helicopter coming to pick him up.
Yeah, that's right. It's coming to save him.
Oh man. Now this one, this is a pretty awesome image. Now, but World War Hulk versus X-Men. I didn't know this was a book. I've never read it.
Yeah, it was so after the Planet Hulk, and the Hulk pissed off, coming back to Earth and basically kicking the ass of every villain or every superhero who sent him off. And so John Romita Jr. did the main World War Hulk miniseries, and then it kind of flowed out into other books also. And there was one that was, World War Hulk versus X-Men, and Andrea DeVito did the artwork. And while Romita Jr. did some great artwork, I think this is the best artwork page, not from his miniseries, but in terms of everything else related to that storyline. I think this is the best page from it. Again, Andrea, very clean artwork, very classic style. It took me about 9 months of talking to him to convince him to part with this page. But I love it. Love it. It was written the miniseries was written by Christos Gage, who actually lives around here too. So I've actually was able to thank him in person for writing such a great story. And I just love this page. It's definitely an amazing piece of artwork. Because again, the Hulk, when you get a page where the Hulk fills the whole page, you got to love it.
Did you just beat out Dave for this one too?
No. Because Andrea never had it posted for sale or anything. I had just reached out to him, was talking to him, and I just, every month or so, hey, what do you think? You want to sell it? And hey, you want to sell it? And he finally, I think I wore him down enough that he said, all right, stop harassing me. You can have it. So, because sometimes, part of the artwork is the hunt. That's part of the, half the fun is the hunt of the page, is getting it, how you get it, what you have to go through to get it. So it's just, that's part of the fun, is just trying to get there.
Adam Kubert did ask for extra security this year at OAX.
That was me. You can thank me for that.
Oh man. Steve Scott says, do you have any of his Marvel Adventures Hulk artwork? Have you ever had any?
I do not have any of that.
Well,
but I do have, from Marvel Adventures, I have some artwork from David Nakayama.
Mm-hmm.
He did that. That was part of my deal with Marvel also. I got some artwork, so I got some of that artwork from that too. So that was kind of cool.
Man, you should have picked up some other, comic book domain names back in the day.
No.
Any X-Men, maybe that one could have gotten you written in.
I should have. And I used the site. The site was a fan site. Like I had all my toys listed, all of them shown. I had a page for each one describing what it was, when it was made, and everything. So it was really like a fan page.
Yeah. And
I had a lot of information about the Hulk and the different villains and everything. And for those who play gaming, if you know the game Ultimate Destruction, Incredible Hulk Ultimate Destruction, it's like one of the first open world games they did. The development team actually used my website as a reference for getting a lot of the information about the Hulk they used in the game.
Oh, wow.
So, because I ended up, the guy who was the lead developer, I ended up getting to be friends with him. And so he kind of used my site for that. So it's kind of, you know, it was a way I used to kind of reach out to other Hulk collectors around the world. So it was really just a fan site, and it was neat while I had it.
Well, it got you drawn into a comic book. I Googled you. You exist in the Marvel universe. Now, if they could just get you to play yourself in a future Hulk movie, that would be the icing on the cake.
That is another discussion, because I actually got now. That's another discussion. We'll talk about that in person.
All right, at OAX.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Oh, here we go. We got some Keown.
Is there any way to kick Simon off the channel?
No, I want to see him whine.
So this is again, this is such an amazing piece of artwork from Dale. I mean, and this is such a classic image with the bunny slippers. And this was one of the ones where it was on eBay, and this is probably just me, but like when I see things like on eBay or even on auction sites, I'll bid on it. And if I'm the high bidder, in my mind, I'm like, I now own this page. It's not my page. So until it's overbid, and I don't own it anymore. So for this one, I put a number. It wasn't really a crazy number either. I mean, it was, but not super crazy. And I'm waiting. I'm like, holy crap, the auction ended and I won it. And I'm like, oh crap, now I have to explain to my wife that I won this page. So, and I still don't know how I got it for the price that I did. And the only thing I think of is it was close to San Diego Comic-Con. So I think maybe people were not spending that much money. They were waiting for, Comic-Con to happen. But I really shouldn't have this page, but I am so glad that I do. Yeah, wow. It's a classic image. And actually, so when Dave and I went up to see Dale, we each bought our classic, because Dave has an amazing splash from Dale also. We both brought our pages up for Dale to sign in front of us. And we actually got a picture with Dale, each of us next to him holding the pages. So that was just cool just to kind of have that happen too.
Dang. Well, this is spectacular. And I can honestly say I've heard numerous times from San Diego shows that's almost always the best time to pick up artwork, wherever, heritage auction, eBay. I mean, a lot of people don't, pull this stuff off. They'll pull their things off eBay or whatever, but that's kind of the week where deals are can happen. Wednesday heritage auction during San Diego. Yeah, you just never know, but that's awesome.
Yeah, I think I can only think that is the reason why I ended up winning this, because people were saving their money for the convention. So,
but did you have to sleep on the couch for a few days?
It was a little rough. I'll tell you that. But it was well worth it, because I mean that's one of my prized pieces, just to have that, because that's a classic image. I mean, Funko did a Funko of it, the Hulk Funko of that thing. I tried to get a hold of them to see if I can get some prototypes they did, just to have something else, but of course couldn't get a hold of anybody there. But it's just a great image.
So I have to ask, because it's been bothering me. You said that there's a book you have to key numbers in. Is it Hulk related? The book that's on, to get into the safe room?
It's the book is actually it is a scary story book.
Okay.
And you open it up, and there's a keypad, and you punch in a number. So if you look, no one's gonna even notice what it is.
Right. Exactly. Okay. So
yeah. So like if you
not a Hulk related book.
No, it's Hulk, because my wife wouldn't let Hulk be on the bookshelf, because it's got nice stuff out there. But like if you're walking in and it's closed, and I mean, there's probably a number of people who have been at my house who are on this thing, you would not know that it's actually a hidden door, because we have the main bookshelf and two bookshelves next to it, so it really blends together. Mm-hmm. You would just walk by and not know. So,
man, I want one.
Yeah, when we bought our house, because we lived in Apex for like 20 years, and we bought a house in the middle of nowhere. And the thing was, I told my wife, I said, I just want a room with a secret door. You could do whatever you want with the rest of the house. I don't care. So that's all I wanted, was a secret room. So, and it's everyone needs a secret room.
Exactly. And 99.9% of us don't have one, Steve. So we're all very jealous of you.
You all need to have one. Get one for yourself.
Dang, man. I'm trying to think in my house where I could even put a secret room. I don't have room for a secret room in my house. I mean, I don't. I
Build
don't
an extension.
that's I would have to. Or if I'm ever going to move, I'm going to have to be looking at that. Like, where could I hide that? All right. No, well, very, very, very cool there. So let's see, where are we going from here? This is a classic image
Oh
from,
yeah.
by Magnola, but from Hulk 313. But wow, I mean, this is this is kind of the era where a lot of people got turned on to Mike's work. Looks nothing like his work today, but I mean, it was cool and different,
Yeah.
and it stood
It's
out.
still Mike's. You can see his style in there that he eventually
Oh,
turned into. This is another ones that, it's part of the hunt. I found it on a European art collector site. They didn't have a lot of, it wasn't a very big one. Actually, 2D galleries, if you know 2D galleries.
oh yeah.
They don't have a lot of artwork on there, but again, it's those times like when you're sitting in front of the TV at 10 o'clock at night, and you're just kind of half watching TV, and you're going through the internet, going, "What's out there? What can I find?" And I stumbled across this, and loved. I mean, Mike's run was very short on this, and I thought this was probably one of the better pages he did. Just that Hulk image of his face. Hulk wants to know, and I did my research. What stuff, because a lot of this Mike hasn't sold, you haven't seen a lot of Mike's artwork out there for the Hulk, but I did a lot of research, what I thought was a fair number, threw it at him. He said he appreciated the fact that I wasn't trying to, just rip him off. So I think I kind of, because it was a fair number, he was like inclined to actually part with the page. So I love this just because of the immensity of the Hulk's face right there and the intensity of it.
Yeah, no, it's a great page. Really, really nice.
And I'm seeing more Hulk artwork from Mike popping up too. There's 2 on Comic Link right now. One has some pretty good Hulk images on it. One just has Bruce Banner on it, but it used to be ferreted away in collections, but you're seeing more of it pop out now.
No, that's a good one. Well, congrats on that one. This is great.
Yeah, really happy with this one. You always have to take those shots. Like the things I've always, there's one thing I've always told my daughters: if you don't ask, the answer is always no. So I took the chance, asked, and he said yes. So I've gotten plenty of no's though, but this time this one said yes.
Well, yeah, no, that's phenomenal. Now, this next one made me laugh when I checked it out. The gum wrapper artwork. There is not enough artwork on CAF or anywhere to be seen from gum wrappers, but you have one.
Yes, and you remember probably getting this gum back then, where you couldn't actually chew the gum; it was more like a rock.
Oh, of course, yeah, they were like the size of a match box.
Yeah, and you could not chew the damn thing. But again, this kind of goes to those. I like to find unique stuff also. I do not know who the artist is. If someone knows who it is, please let me know. But there's probably like 5 or 6 that I think I've seen that involve the Hulk with these. But I've only found, this is the only one I've ever seen with the Hulk with the actual artwork. And I do not even remember where I found this. I think someone reached out to me and offered it to me for sale from my website. I think that's what it was. So it was just so unique and funny. I had to get it. It's just so random.
Mm-hmm. Heck yeah, no, it's very cool. I mean,
it kind of goes with one of my pages I want to get eventually, and I've posted it somewhere before. Is I want to get one of the Hulk Hostess ads. Like, I've never seen any of the Hulk Hostess ads out there. I've seen some of the other ones like Daredevil, Captain America.
You know what those Hostess ads are going for these days?
Probably one of my kidneys.
They're way up there. Ask Dave Kopecki. He recently picked up a Hostess page. Yeah, they aren't cheap anymore because we all want one.
Yeah.
Heck, I'd take a DC one if I had to. At this point.
I was looking at the damn Archie ones on Heritage a little bit ago. I'm like, I can get one at least, something.
Right. It's a starter Hostess page for you.
Yeah.
Archie. But yeah, no, they are so hard to come by anymore. I mean, because everybody who grew up during that period, I mean, it's like a Hembeck.
Yeah.
advertisement or something like that. We all appreciate it. And those hostess ads, I don't know how many there are. They can't be more than like 3 dozen out there, right? I have no idea.
There's a lot actually.
Really? I'm thinking Marvel only.
Marvel. There's actually, hold on a second. I'm gonna.
You've got a book on hostess, huh?
Yes, there is a book I got off eBay. That's all of the hostess ads.
I'm going to learn something. Oh, I've seen that. Wait a minute. I actually think I have a copy of that book. I think Casper.
Yeah, so there's probably there's 80 of them. 80.
There's 80 Marvel only. Son of a gun. I would never have guessed.
Yeah, so there's a bunch of them, and there's a number of Hulks. Sal did some of them.
Well,
Herb did a couple of them.
There might be a chance, Steve. I hope we don't have to fight over one day, because one of us is going to spend a lot of money.
Yeah, good God. My wife's not listening to this, is she? God, I hope not.
Yeah, she's probably asleep. Don't worry about it.
All right. Yeah. But that's one of those ones, like, I want to eventually get one just to have it, just because, again, childhood memories.
Of course. No, I'm with you on that one. But again, so are a lot of other people our age. So, but that one's cool. That one's very cool. Now, so we only have one other artwork to look at. So we should remind everybody, now, if you're looking to get a piece of artwork, there is a giveaway tonight for this amazing artwork. Dr. Seuss inspired, and you can see it right here. Look at that.
Published in Wizard. It was published in Wizard too.
There you go. We're going to be giving this away. All you got to do is type #ILoveHulk into the chat, hit enter. You'll be entered into the giveaway. Let's see how many people are. We're still only at 23. Come on,
what?
People. How is it? It hasn't changed. There's 40 people watching this show right now, and we still only have 23 people. We had 23 people a half hour ago.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, this isn't right. This is just not right.
Come on, people. Where's my crew out there? Come on, let's go.
All right, Southern Comic Geek threw one in there. Okay, now we're up to 25. All right, we got even Jeremy Willoughby over there on Facebook. Thank you, Jeremy. Facebook strong. You might be the only one over there at Facebook right now, but we appreciate you throwing in an entry. You may win that piece of artwork.
Well, I know Jeremy. He lives close to me, so I'll just hand it to him if he wins it.
Hey, save on some shipping. All right.
That's right.
And the professor, Derek Crabb, has just entered as well. Thank you.
Oh, crap. My wife's here. Damn it. I'm not spending any money. No.
Those ads are really cheap. Yeah, they are. We were talking about buying production or not traditional pen and ink illustrated comic book art.
I'm just buying the color guides. That's it. Honest.
Oh man, but lucky for her, they just don't come up that often.
No,
sadly.
I will say this: my wife, because she is an artist herself, so she appreciates the Hulk artwork. When I had a whole third floor full of Hulk toys, she didn't like that, but she can, as an artist, she can appreciate the Hulk artwork. So,
sure. Well, it's art. It's art. Everybody has can relate to art. Everybody can draw. So I don't know. It's a hobby that we all love. I just love seeing people say "I love Hulk," and I knew I was, but I'm getting more enjoyment out of this than I probably should. So we have one more artwork to look at, and then we have an announcement to make about an upcoming get-together that you're going to be hosting. But you're ending on a piece by Purves. So you mentioned earlier you wanted to talk a bit about Jeff.
Yeah. So Nick had said he wants to see some from Jeff, and Jeff had the unfortunate luck of being after McFarlane on the Hulk book. So that's a hard thing to follow up. And Jeff's style was, again, I'm sure many of you have seen it. It was very different, very unique. At the time, it really wasn't well received, especially because McFarlane was so popular. And you get this, Jeff guy, who's that? Because he was really new to the comics too. And it really wasn't well received, but I loved it. In fact, he did the Joe Fixit character. And for anyone who knows me, that's my name on Facebook is Joe Fixit. It's my email address, joefixit2@incrediblehulk.com. So I really loved the character. I ended up actually back probably, that would have probably been 24, 25 years ago. I talked to Jeff on the phone for probably a good 6 months. He actually, after he did his run, he went back to Warner Brothers because he was working at Warner Brothers at the time, did this and went back to doing production work for Warner Brothers and never really came back into the comic book scene. he was saving his artwork at that point, and then it was probably like 10 years later he ended up selling a lot of it. But so I'm happy to have one of these pages because I did enjoy his run for the style it was. I mean, even Bowen Statues did a bust of his style too, which was kind of cool to see. So loved his style. If you don't, I think a lot more people, especially if you look at what the prices of Purves' pages are going for right now, I think they're a lot more appreciated than they were back when they first came out, the comics.
Right. Well, McFarlane's a tough act to follow. I mean,
Yeah.
that's not something too many artists probably would have relished at that point. But
No, anyone I think would have been hard pressed to follow him.
yeah. So I mean, but when you kept in touch with him, or when you had that period where you're talking with him, how long was that after he had done his run on the Hulk?
That was probably like 10 years. I
Yeah.
ended up finding him because there was none of that artwork for sale, and I reached out. I found him back before you could Google and find anyone's favorite color. It was a lot of searching, and I just found him and ended up, he didn't want to sell at that point. He was still holding on to it at that point, and I just ended up just talking to him because it was kind of cool just to talk to the artist to get what he did, what he was doing now, how we thought about the book, and everything else. So it was just kind of a cool period just to kind of talk to an artist, because that was before Facebook and everything else where you could just find anybody. So
right, yeah, that is so true. I mean, when you were talking with him, I mean, did you ever try to get any insights into what he thought about comics and his work that he had there in his career?
He enjoyed it, but I think, he didn't really say it out loud, but I think just because of the backlash, I think he just went back to Warner Brothers just because the general consensus was this is bad, for whatever. So I think it kind of burned him a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, that is unfortunate.
Yeah, I liked his style for how different it was. I really enjoyed it.
And Nick says he wants to find a McFarlane original. Those aren't easy to come by either.
No, I still need one of those, and that is definitely probably the other kidney after I get the Hostess. So I'm going to lose both kidneys. But the funny thing was, well, not funny, but like right now, I think there are 3 McFarlane Hulks on Comic Link and 1 on Heritage. So randomly, like all at once, like for whatever reason, Comic Link, and I just look for Hulk artwork for the most part. So that's my litmus test for how things are going. And Comic Link hasn't had a lot of really prime Hulk artwork for a while, but like right now they have 4 Keown pages. Go out there and find them, Simon. They're out there. So 4 Keown pages, 3 McFarlane pages, 2 Mignola pages, all from the Hulk. 1 Sal, all right now. The auction start 11/21, but all of them prime pages too. So I can't afford any of them, unfortunately. But what are you going to do? Yeah. The war chest is a little low right now.
Save up for OAX.
Oh, that's what I'm planning on doing that. Yeah.
Well, that's good to hear. So we have a few more minutes on the giveaway. So if anybody hasn't entered yet, we still have over 40 people watching. You just have to type in #ILoveHulk, and you too could win that piece of art. Maybe Diana might want to enter. You never know.
Yeah, come on.
That's even a shorter shipping distance. So
I'll give you a quick McFarlane story also.
Yes, please.
Because working up at Games Fortnite, and there's Fortnite toys. There was action figures. Mm-hmm. And for one of the first series we did was McFarlane Toys was doing Fortnite toys, the action figures. So this would have been probably 6 years ago or so, 6.5 years ago. So Todd was actually at our office in a meeting room, 1 floor above me. So he comes out and he talks to, at that point, I was actually in the finance department. He comes out and talks to the other people in the finance department, and like he signs some things for him. And I'm like, you know who I am, right? I've never hid in my life who I am in terms of my obsessive compulsive. Everyone knew I collected Hulk. Not one person reached out and said, hey, Steve, you may want to get up here. Todd McFarlane is here right now. I'm like, he was 1 floor above me, and I could have at least said hi or thanks or something, but never came back. That's painful.
Well, I mean, I would have blamed that one on your coworkers.
Oh, I do. I still blame them. I still bring it up.
Probably still.
I'm still a little bitter about it, Bill. I'm going to tell
I
you.
don't blame you. I would be too. I mean, those opportunities don't happen too often, you know. I mean,
No. And everyone in the finance knew that I collect Hulk comic books and everything. So I'm like, really?
they're like, McFarlane had anything to do with the Hulk? Really?
Yeah, really?
They knew. They knew.
Yes. Still kills me.
Oh man. All right. Well, we got a few more hashtag I love Hulk entries. So that's nice. Where are we at? 32. So we get a few more here. But before we do the drawing, we had that announcement to make. So let's go ahead and show this slide. Well, I'll even let me hide the banner because I'm covering up the event date there.
Yes. So Art in the Woods. This is number 3. I didn't get a chance to do it last year. Last year was a little bit crazy around here, but we are going to be doing. This is the first announcement. Those people who attended last year still don't know, but this is the official announcement. We will be doing Art in the Woods 3 on April 5th, 2025, Bear Creek, North Carolina, which if you are from North Carolina, you probably don't even know where that is either. I'm kind of in the middle of the state between Charlotte and Raleigh. Nice location. Again, if you want to attend, it's going to be on a Saturday. If you want to attend, please message me on CAF and let me know. If you've been to it in the past, you'll get an email here probably in another week. But I've got space for probably 8 people. If someone wants to come here on a Saturday and they want to stay over till Sunday, I've got room for like 8 people. So please come out. It's just a day of fun. You can see Tyler's there. Any event with Tyler is always a better event. So
Tyler brings the fun.
Yes, he does. So hopefully he'll make it. He'll make it again this year. He always brings. He lives in West Virginia. He always brings pepperoni rolls for me because both my parents are from West Virginia, and the pepperoni roll is the national food of West Virginia. It's basically just bread with pepperoni in it, but it's the best thing you'll ever have. But come down, share artwork, talk artwork stories, and just come for the day. So if you do want to attend, please reach out to me on CAF. Give me your email address, and I'll include you on the email thread and where we talk about it. So
very cool. And I've never been to one, but you've shared photographs from the In the Woods meetups, and they look great. You have a really wonderful space, a lot of natural lighting in there, and plenty of portfolios. So, but really though, I mean, would you encourage people to contact you through CAF, or
Yeah, I mean, it's probably the easiest thing. Just message me on CAF, or you could email me. My email is joefixit2@incrediblehulk.com. Yes, I still have, even though I made the deal with Disney and Marvel, I still own incrediblehulk.com, the email alias. That was part of the negotiation. So email me directly at joefixit2@incrediblehulk.com or through CAF. Either way is fine. Or on Facebook. I'm Joe Fixin on Facebook. Either way. So if you want to attend, just let me know. And Bill, you're welcome to come up too. I got plenty of room. So I'm trying to get some artists to show up. Like Tommy Lee Edwards lives like 10 minutes from me. And I'm trying to get
a guy.
Yeah.
When I started CAF, one of the first things I did, because I was like, what am I going to do with, content wise? I interviewed a few artists. Tommy was one of those guys. He was just, but I had known him from going to Heroes a couple of years in a row. And yeah, he's a great guy. I love his artwork. Amazing.
Yeah, so there's a couple of other artists that live in the area, so I'm trying to get them. I'm trying to get Shelton from Heroes to come out. So, because he's a big art collector too.
I know.
Yeah.
He's got an amazing art collection. And I did a brief interview with him as part of another show, and he showed a few of the pieces from his collection on that. And God, that was like 2 years ago. And I told him, I have to get you back on so we can do a full interview and you can bring more artwork for us to look at. Now, I'm never making note of that.
Yeah. He's got a Sal page I've been chasing for years. And it's like his first, one of the first pages he bought. So he will not part with it at this point. But you still got to try. You got to ask.
Exactly. Well, that's, I think it's time let's do the drawing.
All right.
I mean, I'll say, we'll do a 30-second count. Anybody who hasn't entered the drawing already, all you got to do is type hashtag I love Hulk into the chat to be entered in the giveaway. 30 seconds, we're going to draw the winner for the Dunleavy art and published as well. So if we don't get any more entries, we're just going to go ahead and highlight this sucker. Let's see.
For those who have never been here for Art in the Woods, you will also see I have 3 cows and 6 goats and 13, 14 chickens. So you get to see some animals too at the same time.
Right. It really is in the woods.
Yeah. I live a half mile off the road and I am surrounded by woods here at my house. So it is a cool kind of thing just because it's very relaxing and very, very chill.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Well, we'll see. You never know. I might be able to swing it. But all right, we're going to click the button here, and we're going to find out who gets the art. Ooh, it was almost Simon. Goo. Hey, congrats.
All right.
Goo 111882.
Congratulations.
Look at that. Boy, the automation tool here couldn't be happier. Couldn't throw more confetti if it tried. So Goo, I don't know. I assume Goo is in the chat, although I can always shoot him an email because I know I've got it.
Yeah.
But, if not, best way. Well, you already gave your email address a few times.
Yep. So email me or however works best. Let me know what your name and address, and I will get this in the mail to you.
All right. Well, if by chance they aren't in the chat at the moment and didn't realize that they won, I'll shoot him an email and let him know that he got that one. Everybody's congratulating him, and he's not here. He stepped away from the internet stream to grab a late night snack. Anyway, well, thank you for doing that. We've somebody, number one Marvel fan says we should do it again. Yeah, I'm sorry. Well, we'll get it to Goo, but yeah, giveaways are always fun. Steve, thank you for doing that. It makes things a little bit more enjoyable doing these interviews, but yeah, I'm glad. I'm glad that we were able to get this thing in. I wasn't.
Yeah. I enjoy it. I just love talking about artwork, and that's why I love going to Heroes and OAX. It's just you get to talk to other people who share the same passion as you do, and it's just fun. I mean, half the fun of going convention is like riding the line, talking to people about their artwork. So I love doing it.
I agree. I think we got the best hobby out there in all of fandom. Just because, I mean, art's so cool and it's different and everybody can talk about it. I mean, you can appreciate somebody's DC page even if you don't like DC, right? I mean, it just is what it is. So, yeah, no, that's awesome. But thank you, and for the little tour of the Hulk safe room as well.
So you're going to have to come up to see how it looks with the the secret passage. So you need to come up and see that.
I do. And I didn't see the pinball machine. Is that one of those vintage late 70s?
Yeah, the Bailey ones. Unfortunately, it stopped working about 6 months ago, so I have to get someone to fix it. But it did work before that. So, and we actually had that as a kid. My dad liked pinball games, so we actually had that one when I was a kid. And then I went to college, and he sold it. I'm like, why did you sell it? So I had to buy it myself. A few years back when I moved out here.
They weigh a lot. I had one of those. I had a Spider-Man pinball machine. As those things were beasts to move around. But you had to. I mean, I was like, I remember playing pinball back at the in my bowling days, and in middle school and high school and stuff. I mean, there's nothing like going in a couple pinball machines. I still own one, but it's a Mario one because the kids like it, and it's one of those half ones too. So it is much easier to move around. It doesn't weigh like 300 pounds. It's about
There's a place in Asheville, North Carolina, that's basically has probably you can play. I think it's at least 40 to 50, maybe. I think it's a bunch of pinball games. Like you pay like a flat cost, and then you just play any of the pinball games you want to, and it's just a blast.
That is the way it should be. That sounds like the place we did the CAF / Heroes kickoff parties that George arranged for us back then. Those are always a good time. All right, man. Well, listen, it's we're almost at the 2-hour mark. Everybody, we appreciate you hanging out with us this evening. George says it's called the Asheville Museum.
It's a great place to go to. If you're ever in Asheville, it's just fun to play some old pinball games.
I'm with you there. There's actually in the town that's just south of me. There's a says like Pinball Warehouse. It's not very big. I mean, they can't have more than 20 or 30 pinball machines in there, but it has repair on the front of it. But I have to believe they let you go in and play. And I've been here 2 years and I haven't set foot in there. So I need to make a trip in there just to see it. Like maybe I can ask if I could rent it out one day. Now that would be fun.
That would be cool.
Rent it out and do an art meetup there.
That would be cool.
All right, I'm gonna have to talk to those people. All right, man. Well, Steve, this was fun. I look forward to seeing you at OAX.
Yeah, look forward to it.
Yeah, it's we just so everybody knows, because I keep getting asked about it. Yes, there are about 30, 35 other artists that we have to announce, and I hope we're going to be doing that soon. We have Tatiana, who's on board with our kind of event. She's our event director now, so she's helping us get our act together. And not that it wasn't together before, but she's definitely helping us out immensely. So I think within the next week, 2 weeks, we should be able to have the majority of the other guests announced for OAX, and I think everybody will be happy. There's because we haven't announced any of Felix's artists that are coming. Ooh. We've got several artists that I think everybody is going to be very happy to have at OAX. So it's going to be a good time. So
that's part of the fun is like waiting to see who the list is, who so you kind of make those plans as to who you want to hit up first.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's not like the one thing we realized after last year was probably like 85% of the people, at least for our show, travel there. It's a lot different from like Heroes is a show that probably attracts 75 to 80% of the people locally, right? Well, ours is completely opposite. You have to travel, so it's important to get those guest names out there early, because that's a deciding factor on whether or not you want to pay for a flight or commit to an 8-hour drive or all of that. So yeah, we'll get all those names out there, in the next few weeks, I think. So
for us, like Dave drove down from Columbus to my house, and then I drove down the rest of the way to there. So there's a lot of driving, but it's for those fun things, it's worth it, because we talk artwork the whole way down too, so it's fun.
Exactly. And he could just complain about being second so often in his pursuit of the artworks that you both enjoy. All right. Well, listen, I'm going to call it a night, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with us. I'll be back at it again tomorrow with it's a pro-am match between Matt DiTullio and Anthony. And then I've got 2 shows on Thursday, one at 3:00 with Patrick McDonald from Mutt's fame. He's got a gallery show coming up that he wanted to talk about, and that early show was all he could do. So I'll have a 3:00 show on Thursday before we do the CAF update at 9. So busy week for me, but again, lots of content coming to the channel for everybody. Cool. Have a good night.
All right.
See you soon.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks for coming.